Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Joanne Ferrian.
And I'm Amitha Sharma in for Dwayne Brown. Occupy San Diego protesters are putting tents back up at the Civic Center Plaza.
But these aren't the same tents that police took out before. KPBS video journalist Nick McVicker is at the Civic Center Plaza right now, and he joins us by phone. Nick, tell us about the tents that have been put up back at the plaza.
Yes, Joanne. Actually, earlier today, around 5:07, when they decided to bring the tents out, a group of protesters, occupiers, came out with the tents, and they're about a square foot, kind of like the tops of umbrellas. They said that they were a symbol of them rejoining the Civic Center in their protest.
So what did the police say? Because I understand there's several police officers there right now.
Yeah, there is quite a few police officers. At one point, the whole group that came in with the tents approached Chief Assistant Boyd Long and asked him if they would get arrested if they left these tents here overnight. And to that, Boyd Long responded, no, they would not, and then they let out a cheer.
So protesters say this is symbolic, but is it also a bit of a publicity stunt?
I would definitely say so. When they returned to the tents after they'd asked Chief Boyd Long, they were mentioning that they had fooled the cops and made them come out here because they had said that they would put tents up, but obviously these aren't the types of tents many people had in mind.
KPBS video journalist Nick McVicker.
Protesters interrupted a meeting of the University of California Regents today. That meeting was held via teleconference with 4 campuses connected electronically. The protest group Refund California had demonstrators at each location. They say they want banks to pay for public education. The Regents were supposed to meet in mid-November, but postponed the meeting when police warned of the possibility of violent protests.
We're learning more tonight about the Navy's plan to lay off 3,000 people nationwide. Tomorrow, the Navy's Enlisted Retention Board will release a list of petty officers who will be asked to leave by September of next year. Those officers will be required to go through a transition assistance program. They will also get 6 months of continuing health care. The layoffs make up about 1% of the Navy's total force.
2 environmental groups are suing a San Diego agency over a county-wide transportation plan. The San Diego Association of Governments approved the $200 billion plan just last month. KPBS environment reporter Ed Joyce joins us now. Ed, who is suing and why?
The Cleveland National Forest Foundation and the Center for Biological Diversity are suing San Diego over their 2050 transportation plan because they say it spends too much time on freeways, expanding freeways and freeway transportation projects rather than livable, sustainable communities and transit projects.
And what is Sandag saying about the suits?
Sandag says they cannot comment on the lawsuits in detail. Staff haven't really seen the lawsuits, but they say they stand by their plan. They say their plan is the most efficient one for taxpayers.
Thank you, Ed Joyce.
A judge says California cannot take $1 billion in tobacco taxes away from the First Five program. Governor Jerry Brown and state lawmakers had proposed taking the money to help cover the state's health care budget. The idea never made it to the final state spending plan because of lawsuits filed in several counties. Now, a state judge says it's not legal under the terms of Proposition 10, which created the tobacco tax. The governor's office is now reviewing that ruling. Supporters of a plan to remove traffic from the center of Balboa Park have unveiled a video of their proposal. The video shows what the Plaza de Panama would look like with the change. It was shown to the media today by philanthropist Irwin Jacobs, who has donated money toward the new plan. In the interest of full disclosure, Jacobs is a contributor to KPBS.
We have been waiting until roughly now to begin actively fundraising. This video is clearly going to be part of our fundraising activity. We have had some early discussions. We wanted to wait before we tried to pursue those until we had some sufficient confidence that we are going to be able to move ahead. And at this point, we are stepping up fundraising activity.
The plan includes a bridge to reroute traffic around the west side of the park. Opponents say that would spoil the park's scenery and send traffic into areas that have been quiet. They want the makeover to go to a citywide vote.
Early numbers indicate the nation's holiday shopping season may be off to a better-than-expected start this year. KPBS business reporter Eric Anderson says small businesses in San Diego worked hard to get noticed by potential shoppers this past weekend as they took part in Small Business Saturday. Eric, was it a good weekend for smaller retailers?
Well, there was certainly more traffic out there in the stores. I talked earlier today with a representative from the Hillcrest Business Association, and he said he's not sure if it was because of their efforts to promote Small Business Saturday. It might have just been a case of the good weather, but in any case, the customers were very welcome. Small businesses rely on those customers to make their bills each and every year.
Why is this an important time of year?
Well, it's the time of year because many small businesses do about 40% of their business during this 6-7 week period, the holiday shopping period. 95,000 small businesses in the San Diego area kind of rely or key in on this particular area to raise a lot of their revenue for the course of the year. So it can make or break a business. If there's a lot of holiday traffic out there, which we saw a little bit of this weekend, that's important for them. Of course, the people that I talked to today said that they're going to try to promote their small businesses all through the holiday period, not just the first weekend, because they want to get those returns, in the 4th, 5th, and 6th week of this holiday shopping span.
Eric, thank you. A few minutes ago, we got an update on the Occupy San Diego movement. Protesters across the country have been ordered to take down their tents. They claim the crackdown is a violation of their First Amendment rights. Joanne and her guest are talking about it over at the Evening Edition Roundtable.
As you heard earlier in the news, Occupy San Diego protesters are once again putting up tents at the Civic Center Plaza in defiance of police orders. The protesters risk arrest by doing so. Over the past several weeks, San Diego police have arrested more than 100 people and spent more than $2 million to police the Occupy demonstration. Is this just keeping the peace and enforcing the law, or infringing on First Amendment rights? Joining me to talk about the rights of protesters is David Blair Loy. He's legal director with the ACLU in San Diego and Imperial Counties. Thank you, David, for being here.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about rights of protesters. First of all, can they be at the Civic Center Plaza? Is that a public space?
Absolutely. That's a public forum for free speech and peaceful assembly to petition for redress of grievances and express whatever message they choose to express.
So what is it they can't do? In terms of, we have an ordinance in San Diego County, it goes back to the days of dump trucks, that says you can't put things down on the ground. Is that sort of the issue right now that we're seeing in San Diego?
I don't think that ordinance can be taken to its literal extreme, because if taken to that extreme, it would prohibit anyone from putting down a briefcase or a shopping bag for 3 seconds. I think it has to be taken somewhat differently, and I think it has to be taken in light of First Amendment rights. And the First Amendment doesn't cover only pure speech. It covers what we call symbolic conduct. So the act of putting up a tent might have nothing to do with speech or a message, but in another context, such as the Occupy movement, it is very much part of the message.
We do know that Occupy San Diego is asking the court for a temporary injunction with regard to this ordinance, claiming it's too far-reaching. Right now, though, if protesters set up tents, is there, separate from this ordinance, something else in the law that says you can't do that?
Well, I'm not an expert on every single clause of the municipal code. I mean, you'd have to ask the police about that. There may be other provisions in the municipal code that prohibit overnight camping in certain places. Again, those would have to be taken in light of the First Amendment, depending on circumstances. A city can't pass a municipal code that overrides the Constitution.
So a municipal code can't trump your constitutional right to be at the Civic Center Plaza?
Absolutely.
But we do see that police are saying you can't set up tents there. So how do you know, where is that line? How do you, I mean, are these arrests legal in your eyes, or how do you know where you're crossing that line?
I can't vouch for every single arrest. I wasn't there to witness every single one. It's possible that certain people may have done things that were not protected by the First Amendment. The First Amendment requires, among other things, one, that the government not restrict or regulate speech based on its content. Assuming that what the police are doing, the city is doing, is content neutral, then you have the question of whether it is a reasonable time, place, and manner regulation. And that's the language straight from the Supreme Court. And so what's a reasonable time, place, and manner restriction depends on the circumstances. There isn't always a perfect bright line rule. I know that makes everyone's lives a little more complicated. That's why I think, as a practical matter, the best way to resolve these things, as well as most things, is to try to do it by agreement out of court. in advance. In other words, get together, have the organizers and the police get together, and I think they did up front and work something out. So I wasn't privy to those discussions. I don't know what they negotiated, but it seems to me that, arrangements could be made to allow a certain amount of camping and overnight occupation at the same time as respecting the public's right to use the space as well.
We did see that early on in these protests, not just in San Diego, but across the country. 1 week, 2 weeks, everything was fine. 3 weeks, people start to sort of say, okay, enough is enough. City council members point to, oh, well, it's a health hazard. There's feces, there's rats. This is why now we have to end it. So you said there's no bright light or bright line, but is there some, reasonable expectation where this just, 3 weeks is too long or 6 weeks is too long, and who decides?
I think there are ways to address the health problems that don't involve the suppression of the message. If there are health hazards, then those can be addressed. Yes, public space is public, and I don't think anyone has the right to exclusively occupy a given public space permanently. But at the same time, there is a legitimate point, and the point of the Occupy movement is to occupy, to keep these issues in the public mind until they are solved. And they're very fundamental issues about our economy and our society, and without taking a side on who's right and who's wrong. So I think that there are and there ought to be ways to accommodate and balance the competing interests without necessarily, categorically prohibiting the occupation.
Finally, before we go, do you see this, not just in San Diego, but across the country, really ending up in the courts in terms of them deciding, or do you see local jurisdictions, city councils, mayors, sort of outside of court trying to work with these occupation movements?
It's not just judges and lawyers that have an obligation to uphold the First Amendment. It's every government official. Virtually every government official takes an oath to uphold the law, to uphold the Constitution. And I strongly encourage elected officials, appointed officials, to take these issues very seriously and not assume that they don't have the duty to uphold First Amendment values at the same time as protecting public health, safety, and welfare.
David Blair Loy, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Joanne talked with David Blair Loy earlier today before the protest started. As KPBS Evening Edition continues tonight, San Diego scientists are trying to unravel one of the mysteries of the universe. They're looking at the origins of black holes. We'll talk with one of those researchers in just a few moments. And what do you do with a pricey cruise ship pavilion when you don't have many cruise ships visiting? We'll have the answer coming up on KPBS Evening Edition.
Tonight on KPBS. At 8, Antiques Roadshow is in Madison, Wisconsin, with appraisals including an heirloom Art Deco charm bracelet with a possible connection to John D. Rockefeller. Then at 9, the Roadshow moves to Denver's Kirkland Art Museum to view its collection of wild-looking Art Deco glassware, known as Ruba Rhombic. And at 10 on Grove, a neglected eyesore is turned into a National AIDS Memorial. That's all tonight on KPBS.
I'm Margaret Warner. On the next news hour, we talk with the head of the European Commission as pressure grows to contain the Eurozone financial crisis. That's Monday on the PBS NewsHour.
The American people have named PBS
the most trusted source of news
and public affairs
for the 8th year
in a row.
Trust.
The American people have spoken.
Thank you.
KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Irwin Jacobs and by
The Port of San Diego spent $28 million on the new cruise ship terminal on Broadway Pier. Yet with the decline in cruise ship activity, the clocks at the downtown terminal are empty much of the time. But KPBS Metro reporter Katie Orr says the building is still getting some use.
San Diego's Port Pavilion has been open for about a year now. It's primarily designed for cruise ships, but it may have found its calling with something else. The pavilion has caught on as an event center. In the last year, more than 40 events have taken place at the center, bringing in more than $240,000 in revenue. The Port's Rita Vandergaat says that's happened without a formal marketing campaign.
It's really exceeded our expectations. We really didn't know what kind of activity would be in the building and how many people would be interested in it.
Recently, the America's Cup rented out the pavilion while it held sailing races in the bay. Vandergaat says the center has also hosted proms, meetings, and commercial shoots. But not everyone is impressed. Corey Briggs is the attorney for the Navy Broadway Complex Coalition. The group fiercely opposed the construction of the pavilion and has filed several lawsuits over it. Briggs maintains the pier that the pavilion sits on was supposed to be a large public park with views of the bay. He says that would have worked fine for events, too.
You want to have a wedding, you want to have a bar mitzvah, you want to have an anniversary, you just want to have a celebration. This is a place where you can come and enjoy the bay. And except for crowds or maybe some public art here and there, you can see the bay 180 degrees. Now you can't.
And Briggs says event revenue doesn't paint the full picture. He said security, maintenance, and operation costs all have to be taken into account. The Port says it spent about $229,000 this year on maintenance for the pavilion and the pier it sits on, and event planners requiring security must pay for it themselves. Vandergaat says the Port has 18 parks around the bay and that the pavilion provides another option.
This is an amenity that we don't have on the bay. We do not have a facility, a building. When people have a wedding, they'd like to have it in a covered facility.
Vandergaat says event revenue brings in about $10,000 a day when the pavilion is rented out. But she acknowledges that does not make up for the decline in cruise ship activity, which brings in about $30,000 a day when a ship is docked. With the down economy and continued drug war violence in Mexico, cruise lines don't figure to expand service in San Diego anytime soon. And it may be time to start marketing the Harborside Pavilion to party planners.
That story from KPBS Metro reporter Katie Orr. San Diego scientists have been keeping their eyes on the sky lately. On Saturday, the Mars rover Curiosity was launched from Cape Canaveral, equipped with cameras built by a local company. The rover's mission is to find out whether Mars could have supported life. Some other local scientists have been working on another extraterrestrial puzzle. Joanne is talking with one of them over at the Evening Edition Roundtable.
It may be one of the greatest mysteries within our universe, the birth of a black hole. But scientists have recently discovered new information about a famous black hole, information that pieces together an incredible story about its birth, its size, and its spin. Dr. Jerry Orris is an associate professor of astronomy at San Diego State University and one of the researchers contributing to this discovery. Dr. Orris, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us, first of all, give us a little bit of information about a black hole.
So a black hole is basically the core of a star that collapsed, and it's so dense that the escape velocity is basically exceeds the speed of light. And so since nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, once you're inside the black hole, you can't go fast enough to get back out. And so it's like a one-way ticket.
So the black hole now that you've been studying for the last 10 years, where is it located?
It's about 6,000 light years away in the direction of the constellation Cygnus, and so you can kind of see that sort of early evening looking towards, say, the southeast.
And what is it about this black hole and this discovery that makes it so important? Because this black hole really comes with a little bit of a story, a backstory.
Well, Cygnus X1 was the first, one of the first X-ray sources ever discovered in 1964 in rocket flights. And since about 1970, it was strongly suspected to contain a black hole. The problem is that there are lots of uncertainties in the measurements of the mass, and only recently have we been able to get a very accurate distance to the source, and that distance in turn allows us to sort of constrain the mass much more precisely.
And now we have some video that we want to put up, and maybe you can describe what we're looking at, because now in order for you to get this information to sort of confirm its existence, you used X-rays as sort of a different kind of astronomy. Tell us how scientists were able to confirm this.
Right, so we observe an X-ray light, radio light, and also optical light. And so what the video shows is first an optical image of the area in Cygnus where this source is. And then it sort of zooms in to an artist's impression of what the system might look like, if we were able to travel there and look up close. And so what this system contains is a binary system with a star that we can see, the optical star, and it's in orbit about a dark companion, that we don't see directly. And based on the orbital motion of the star that we can see, we can calculate the mass of the star we don't see, and the mass is very large. Now, since these stars are so close together, the black hole is actually making the optical star a little bit distorted. And so it looks sort of like a teardrop. And matter is being pulled off that star and it's falling towards the black hole. And as the matter falls down, it forms what we call an accretion disk. And so it's, basically like the whirlpool in your bathtub, when the water runs out. And as the matter goes down the accretion disk, it gets heated to very, very high temperatures. In fact, it's so hot that most of the radiation comes out in X-rays. And so that's how we can tell that there's a very small, compact object there, because a normal star would not produce such powerful X-rays.
Now, I was also reading about this black hole. There are 3 critical things that you need in order to determine information. First of all, the existence of black hole, but also with this one, how old it is. What are those 3 things? Well,
according to theory, the only 3 numbers you need to fully describe a black hole are its mass, its rate of spin, and its electrical charge. And if you think about it, a star or, your dog or anything else needs lots and lots of words to fully describe it. But a black hole, you just need 3 numbers. And so in some sense, they're the simplest things in the universe.
But also the most complex.
But also the most
mysterious.
Mysterious. And so the way we infer the existence of a black hole is basically the process of elimination. And so we see something very massive and very compact. And other objects like white dwarfs and neutron stars would not be stable at those high masses. And so the only other thing that it can possibly be, according to the theory, would be a black hole.
Does every galaxy have a black hole?
Well, every galaxy probably has a very massive black hole at their center, and calculations show that galaxies like our own probably have a couple 100 million black holes. And it's kind of a long story, but basically we see elements heavier than helium, around us, and those were created in massive stars. And massive stars, they blow up at the end of their lives and, produce that matter. And what they leave behind are neutron stars and black holes. And so based on the amount of matter that we see, we can infer that there's a certain number of supernova explosions. That's a couple 100 million.
Dr. Orris, quickly before we go, why is this discovery so important in understanding our universe?
Well, black holes represent the extreme states of gravity, and so it's a way to test Einstein's theory of gravity in very extreme conditions. And, black holes represent the endpoints of the most massive stars, and plus they're just, fascinating objects.
Dr. Orris, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We'll recap our top stories in a moment. And how much are you planning to spend for the holidays? That's the topic in our public square. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
Hi, I'm Rick Steves, and I'll be in the KPBS studios to host a 2-hour special on some of my favorite European waterways. We'll explore the fabled Dalmatian coast, from dramatic Dubrovnik to salty Adriatic island ports. Then, we'll travel to the west of Norway for a sail under towering fjord cliffs and a hike on powerful glaciers. And we'll top it off with some fun in the Spanish sun on the Costa del Sol. I hope you can join us.
Coming up Thursday at 8 on KPBS.
Hi, I'm Elsa Sevilla. If you find yourself hearing about a great program on KPBS after it's already aired, we have a solution. Get notified about your favorite TV programs on KPBS before they air by subscribing to the TV Highlights email alert. This daily email will feature the best programs coming up right here on KPBS TV, so you can make a date to tune in or plan to record it. It's easy to register. Just go to kpbs.org/alerts.
Welcome back to the Public Square on KPBS Evening Edition. Americans bought more last Friday than on any other day in history. That's according to Chicago-based Shopper Track. Shoppers spent more than $11 billion. And, of course, today is Cyber Monday. Consumers are expected to spend another $1 billion. Did you buy anything last Friday? Did you shop local, online? And how much money did you spend? Or maybe you're tired of all the shopping hype. Tell me what you think. Is this the kickstart the economy needs, or are we all going to find ourselves further in credit card debt? You can weigh in on this conversation by following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, or the easiest and most direct way is just by emailing me, jfarian@kpbs.org. And now Amitha has a recap of tonight's top stories.
Occupy San Diego protesters pledged to put their tents back up at the Civic Center Plaza today, but they didn't put up full-sized tents. Instead, they put up mini tents as a symbolic protest. They are still waiting for a judge's ruling on their request for a temporary restraining order against police who have prevented them from putting up another tent city. Tomorrow, the Navy will start informing petty officers whether they will be laid off. The Navy is planning to lay off 3,000 people. Those being laid off are being given nearly a year's notice and will have to be able to retain health benefits for 6 months. The Navy will also offer them a transitional program to help them prepare for civilian life. And 2 environmental groups are suing the San Diego Association of Governments over its 2050 transportation plan. The suit claims the plan would increase sprawl and pollution and worsen climate change while ignoring the need for public transit. SANDAG has not commented on the suit yet, but says it stands by the plan. You can watch and comment on any of the stories you saw tonight on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening. We leave you with a look at the forecast.